Zero.
Zero.
Welcome to Excessive Celebration. Part of the crossover family, crossover radio sports, to be specific. Billy Bell, to my right. I'm still me, Scott Owens, still sitting in the same chair. Billy, how are you? How was your weekend?
Good.
Yeah, it was great for me too. Mixed in a little sports, a little cultural activity that I shared with you a second ago. So
Yeah,
I feel very well rounded.
You've got that problem now of there's now so many games on. You're like, wow, which one do I watch? No, that one looks good. No, that one looks better.
Yeah, because there's like
tough situation to be in.
It is. On a Saturday, I watch two TVs at once, and then try to have games that I want on those, and then a backup. But you could literally roll in. I have at some point in my life had more than two at one time, but found out that was even more difficult to keep track of.
Do you have that channel where it's like 4 screens on top and then 4 on the bottom, and it's got different games all over the place?
Well, are you talking about the subscription channel?
Yeah, like the HD whatever.
Yeah,
and it's got CBS and ESPN and all that nonsense.
No, I don't. I can do picture in picture on both, so I can watch 4 games at once. But it's hard to watch 2 at once. Frankly,
and even on that, it's hard because the screens are 2 inches big.
Yeah, and then you're trying to move them around as a ball gets.
Right.
It would that would have worked like, I don't know, back in the 70s and into the 80s, because nobody was throwing the ball. There weren't any of these 3 guys lined up wide, and so you could have managed it and kept the other screen in one spot and never had to worry about it. The worst thing's like trying to watch 2 basketball games picture in picture, because you can't watch a fourth of the court.
Well,
even the forecourt you can't watch.
That, and depending on what station you've got, they've got the either the score and the time down on the bottom right, or some of them now have put it in the middle, and that just ruins everything, because then you got to put the picture up top, and you can't tell if anybody's made a shot. So you're
when we watch basketball in the state of Oklahoma, the other thing you deal with is that even the small screen and the big screen are both going to have a big map of the state of Oklahoma on it, and showing you where the multiple vortices are dropping out of the sky.
Yeah, what is it? Every year for the last 10 years, we've missed at least 3/4 of the playoffs in some aspects because of tornado or heavy thunderstorm, or we just need a little more camera time on David Payne.
Yeah, a little rain event.
Little rain. But nobody making it rain.
No. And probably not here in another couple of months at the Ford Center either.
No.
Chesapeake. What is it now?
I'm just going to call it the Thunder's home.
The Thunderdome.
Thunderdome. That's what it should be called.
Yeah. I think around here there are some old wounds that go with a place called the Thunderdome, and I don't know whether this is the appropriate show to talk about it or not.
Did you see...
Behind the Badge would be.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the Kevin Durant story that came out?
Yes.
Like, I have good intentions, or had good intentions of coming back to Oklahoma. Okay. Why even say any of that? Who cares at this point?
Yeah.
Whether you did or you didn't want to come back, I think more so, I think he would have came back if Westbrook was still here. And he claims it's because he doesn't trust whoever's here now, so either Presti or ownership to some degree. So, I mean, whatever it may be, but...
And then he goes and beats up on Kerr, says he can't coach, and that he didn't like that offense at Golden State. Yeah, it's not very good.
You didn't like getting the ball whenever you wanted and taking whatever shot you wanted. Yeah, that's a tough offense, and share the ball, and that's truly how basketball should be played, the right way. And even you said that's how you play basketball, the right way, before signing with them.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of and I don't mean the attitude at all. Just bear with me for a second. Let's say you're either a starting receiver or a running back at Oklahoma the past 3 years on offense, right? You're a receiver or a running back. And 2 years later, you're not on the team anymore. Maybe you transferred out. Maybe you're in the pros now or something. And then to turn around and say, that offense.
Yeah.
She's going to give me the ball more, because that just didn't work.
Yeah, how dare they give me all those receptions and yards and get me to the NFL where I'm paid, or, provided me a scholarship, whatever maybe. I don't.
It's the same thing. That's the greatest. That's the greatest offense I've ever seen in professional basketball.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, hands down, far and away. And honestly, Boston has started going to that a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't have quite the shooting that the Warriors have, but they share the ball really well.
Well, and Bill, they got youth. I was going to say
Yeah.
they have youth, and and it's not a sense of entitlement. It seems like there. It looks like they're buying in a little bit, and they got rid of the guy that wasn't.
And I will say the Jazz do that pretty well. More so than those three teams, more so than probably any other team I've seen share the ball exceptionally well over the past couple of years.
You know who does it until the playoffs?
Houston.
Portland.
Oh, yeah.
Houston for sure.
I think there's something to be said. So you do need, like say Donovan Mitchell, right? He'd be my perfect example. So he's on a team that shares the ball really well, or even Kawhi.
Yeah, but when they need to.
Right, but when they need to, they take the ball. I think the
It's
usage.
it's just like here. When I start losing it, Bill will take over, stat man, fact man,
Sometimes.
and bring us back.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Only on Super Pork Chop Sundays.
Super pork chop.
I think the usage rate, especially in say Harden's case, like that's going to be the most interesting thing to see this year with Houston. Is I know they've played together before, but you've got Capella, you've got Harden, you've got Westbrook now. How does that ball get swung around the court to appease all these players? Westbrook struggled with it a little bit, but when Westbrook wants to pass, he'll pass.
You know, he didn't struggle with it though too much when Durant was there, because I don't know how many times Durant ended up being the scoring leader, and
that's the
Westbrook
other thing.
was the assist leader.
When people would get on to him about, he doesn't share the ball enough. Well, some of those guys,
He tried. Yeah, how many times
you
you going to throw it to Robertson,
Yeah.
and have him shank it?
And let's be honest,
anybody.
assists are purely luck based. I mean, whether the guy can shoot 70% or 50%, yeah, you have better odds with the 70% guy, but there's no guarantee every time he's going to come down.
I'd say the only time I don't completely agree with what you said there is if you have that other guy and you've mastered a pick and roll. Then I don't know that it's certain that it's so much luck.
Well, the percentage would go higher whenever he's doing that role.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, whenever he's doing that role with Adams and now probably Capella, yeah, that percentage goes way
But you're
out.
right. If he's driving the lane and then kicking it out to somebody on the corner.
And realistically, that's all he did
Yeah.
in Oklahoma City, outside of the few pick and roll plays he would do with Adams.
Right. That means every time you pass, you're getting at about 35% of getting an assist. You might as well take the shot yourself.
And you might as well go down 15% passing it out to Jeremy Grant, who did get a little bit better, but still couldn't shoot. Even Ibaka, back when Ibaka was here,
Remember when
he wasn't hitting anything.
No. Nobody does until they leave.
Well, yeah, that's the plan, right? Get better as you leave. ESPN,
Is that the
here
trick?
I come.
Is that how that works? That's how that works? See, because I thought you peaked early, and then you just hung on for dear life.
Kind of like us. Gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like my bets lately in these.
Man.
My takes.
Oh man, I'm guessing Sky Q killed us again.
Well, he did, and we can talk about that a little bit. And you know, Bill, one thing I think we want to talk about.
Nebraska. Ugh.
Oh my goodness, that one. There was a bunch of them again that just. Well, I was feeling pretty good going into that late game, Stanford and USC. That was looking okay. I would have ended up tied.
Ooh.
He'd have lost one so it would have been a 2-game swing, and instead he hangs on.
Can't even have epic bragging rights against the
Not yet, but it's a long season.
Man, that 1 week I beat him, he better believe he's going to hear it.
That's
Emails, phone calls, Facebook posts.
Texting him during his PE class.
I mean, you better get it together, Sky Q. You better get it together.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I'm trying to tell him it's a long season, trying to humble him, but I did break down, and even though I know they're going to lose now, I picked BYU over USC, and I know they're going to lose because I picked them.
Yeah. Well, and I'll probably jump on that bandwagon.
Well, because you kind of have a thing for the quarterback.
Because last week I should have picked them and was bragging all over their quarterback.
Man.
And there is no way they should have won that game, and somehow they come back and win that game.
Yeah, there's no way. I really believed the same thing about Tennessee that I did about Ole Miss beating Arkansas, that they would have. But man, that's not good.
They're crashing hard.
Yeah, so is OU's next opponent. And we'll talk a little bit about OU and OSU when we come back out of the break. We'll touch on last week. Not a whole lot to talk about. 2 games that went the way they were supposed to, but we'll touch on that and get ready for a little more college football. Then we'll get into the opponents for this weekend. Then turn it over to Bill for some fantasy talk. That's right, I said fantasy talk.
Crossover Sports accepts the celebration.
Very excessive.
Very excessive. We're accessible. Find us on Facebook and Twitter. Also,
Is that accessible?
also be sure to get that Crossover Sports app.
Get it.